The moon hung low in the sky, casting an eerie glow across the desolate canyon. A lone figure emerged from the shadows, his silhouette etched against the starlit horizon. This is the tale of James Callahan, a rugged cowboy whose life was about to change forever. James had always been a drifter, roaming the untamed frontier with nothing but his trusty revolver and loyal steed. His weathered face and piercing blue eyes told stories of countless adventures, but none could compare to the one that awaited him on this fateful night. As he guided his brown Mustang along a narrow mountain trail, the stillness of the evening was shattered by a blood-curdling scream. Without hesitation, James spurred his horse forward, his heart pounding in his chest. The sight that greeted him sent a chill down his spine. An overturned wagon, its wheels splintered and contents strewn across the dusty ground. Two menacing figures were dragging a young woman from the wreckage, their intentions all too clear. In that moment, James didn't think. He acted. Drawing his Colt with lightning speed, he bellowed, "Let her go, right now." The outlaws froze, startled by the unexpected interruption. A single shot rang out, kicking up dirt mere inches from their feet. James charged forward on horseback, his fist connecting with one man's jaw while his boot sent the other sprawling. Panic-stricken, the would-be kidnappers fled into the darkness. The young woman collapsed to the ground, her body racked with tremors. James dismounted and knelt beside her, gently cradling her in his arms. Even through the grime and tear-stained cheeks, he could see she was strikingly beautiful. With utmost care, he lifted her onto his horse, whispering words of comfort as he tightened the reins. "Don't worry," he murmured. "I'll take you somewhere safe." As night fell, James brought the unconscious girl to his modest cabin on the edge of the prairie. He tended to her wounds with surprising tenderness, his calloused hands moving with practiced ease. Hours passed before she finally stirred, her eyes fluttering open. Where am I?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "In my cabin," James replied softly. "I'm James. You're safe now." She hesitated before introducing herself. "I'm Clara Bennett, daughter of the Bennett Ranch down south. Those men attacked me on my way home." James fell silent, recognition dawning in his eyes. The Bennetts were well known in these parts, wealthy ranchers with a reputation for being strict and powerful. He, on the other hand, was nothing more than a wandering cowboy, with little to his name, save for his gun, an old guitar, and his faithful horse. Yet what struck him most wasn't her family name, but the way her eyes, filled with gratitude and trust, seemed to look right into his soul. Clara remained at the cabin for several days to regain her strength. James was a man of few words, but her presence filled the lonely space with a warmth he had long forgotten. Each morning, he would lead her outside to breathe in the crisp prairie air. Clara's laughter rang out like music whenever she spotted wild mustangs galloping across the sun-drenched plains, her eyes alight with childlike wonder. One evening, as they sat by the crackling fire, Clara broke the comfortable silence. "Why do you live out here, all alone?" she asked quietly. James shrugged, his gaze fixed on the dancing flames. "I once had a family, but lost them to illness. Since then, it's been nothing but the open road and my horse." Clara was quiet for a moment, sensing the pain hidden beneath his gruff exterior. Gently, she placed her hand over his. "You're not alone anymore, James." For the first time in years, his heart skipped a beat. He had never imagined he could feel so alive again. A week later, James reluctantly brought Clara back to the Bennett Ranch. Her father, a stern and imposing figure, rushed to meet them. "Clara, you've had me worried sick," he exclaimed before turning his attention to James. "And you. Thank you for saving my daughter. But I won't have her associating with a drifting cowboy." James lowered his head, accepting the invisible barrier of class and pride that stood between them. He mounted his horse, prepared to ride away. But Clara broke free from her father's grasp, running after him with tears glistening in her eyes. "James, you saved me. You showed me what true freedom feels like," she cried. "Father, please, let me follow my heart." Her father stood silent, torn between his strict principles and the undeniable love blazing in his daughter's eyes. From that day forward, Clara and James met in secret as the sun dipped below the horizon. They rode side by side across the golden plains, laughing and dreaming of a future together. Tender kisses were shared beneath skies painted in shades of crimson and gold. James knew the road ahead would not be easy, but he had finally found his true home in Clara's heart. One moonlit night, much like the evening of their first encounter, James rode to the Bennett Ranch. Clara was waiting for him, dressed in a simple gown that seemed to glow in the silver light. He took her hands in his voice low but steady. "Clara, I have no land, no fortune to speak of," he began, "but I promise to protect you and love you until my dying breath. Will you ride with me, wherever life may take us?" Tears of joy spilled down Clara's cheeks as she nodded. "Yes, James. Love means more than any riches this world can offer." Beneath the watchful gaze of the moon, they embraced tightly, as if the rest of the world had simply fallen away. From that moment on, James was no longer a wanderer. With Clara by his side, he built a small ranch at the edge of the prairie, where wild horses still thundered across the land each morning. Their life was simple, yet filled with a love strong enough to weather any storm that came their way. And so, the tale of the cowboy and the rancher's daughter became legend throughout the western frontier. It was a love story born in danger and sealed by moonlight, a testament not to wealth or status, but to the enduring power of two hearts bound together for eternity. Their love was as vast as the prairie itself, and as timeless as the western sky that stretched endlessly above them.